Good morning. It's September 3rd, is it? And it's a Friday, so that means walking around Wascana Lake. So this will be my first time around the lake in September. Meteorological autumn, meteorological fall, apparently. And it does feel a little fallish. And the leaves and trees are certainly starting to show some hints of color. So it should be a pleasant walk. What's on my agenda for today? Well, still writing the short story for the anthology, Shapers of Worlds Volume 2. I thought I could finish it yesterday, but I stopped at a point and needed to think some more. So I think I know what happens now. So today I'll be able to finish it off, and that will allow me to move on toward getting that book published. Everybody else's stories are in. All the edits have been accepted. I think I have bios from everybody. I might still have to follow up on one or two about that. I'll have to write an introduction. I have to decide what order the stories go in. And then Shapers of Worlds Volume 2 will come out. And of course, if you're just joining me, Shapers of Worlds Volume 2 is an anthology of short fiction by authors who were guests during the second year of my Aurora award-winning podcast, The World Shapers, www.theworldshapers.com, where I interview other science fiction and fantasy authors about their creative processes. The latest episode on the weekend was with Joshua Palmentier, the fellow author who has also kickstarted anthologies through his company Zombies Need Brains, LLC. And his are a little different. He has some anchor authors, typically 7. I've been those for one of those for a couple of those anthologies. And then once it funds, he throws it open to submissions from other authors. So if you're a writer, you can submit to whatever the current anthologies are, and they all have very strong themes. So the 2 I've been in were My Battery is Low and Is Getting Dark, which is about technology that finds unexpected uses in the future. And the most recent one is called The Modern Deity's Guide to Surviving Humanity, which is about what ancient gods are up to in the modern world. And my story in there is called Casey's, and it's about Nankasi, the Sumerian goddess of beer, who of course is running a brew pub. A very special brew pub. Anyway, I talked to him on, and that one ran on the weekend. A couple of others I have coming up is Avi Tidhar, is that how you pronounce his first name? And Laurel K. Hamilton. Those are a couple of big names coming up. Arranging some others. I think I'll have Mercedes Lackey on before too long. The question is, how long do I keep doing it? There's a part of me that would be fine with pulling the plug at episode 100, just because of the time commitment and all that, but that's probably just me being lazy, and I probably won't do that. Well, they must be painting more. They must be painting down under there again because the bridge is blocked off. I mean, the underpass is blocked off. Or is it just on one side? I guess it's not really blocked. It probably flooded. Yeah, I think I'll take the walkway, the crosswalk. Couldn't get the word out. Crosswalk is the word I wanted. Yeah, it looks pretty mucky under there. So we'll wait here instead until we can cross. Not too much of a hardship. It can take a while though, as it is now. I don't know how it decides how long it's going to take. Sometimes you get here and it seems to change right away, and sometimes you get here and you wait a long time, like this morning. So maybe I should have taken the mucky underground passage. Because this is boring, really boring, standing here, waiting, losing time. I need to get walking. I have to be back at the house by 9:30 at the latest. Oh, there we go. Which way do I walk? Well, I guess because I'm coming this way, instead of having come through the mucky passageway there. Yeah, and there's lots of mud at this end of it too, so I think I made the right choice. We'll go around this way. I haven't walked clockwise for a while. And of course, last week I wasn't here, so I didn't walk last week. It won't be long before it starts to be colder. There'll be mist and stuff going on. It's sparkly this morning. There's the aeration fountain. Morning, Miriam. Lots of geese there on the shoreline. Having words with each other for some reason. One nice thing about when it gets colder, there's fewer people around the lake, which I prefer to glorious solitude when I'm walking. In the summertime you can get around the lake, but in the wintertime you can. Hardly anybody will be out. Up their ways you see a bit of orange. That's where they're working on the new swimming pool. Of course, over there is the legislative building. Roberts Plaza is the sticky up building over there. This is Wascana Lake, where I walk every Friday. Artificial lake in the heart of the city, created by a dam on Wascana Creek. The dam is over there under the bridge. Deepened a few years ago. It was created in the early 20th century, and it's silted up over the years. And then in 2003, I think, they drained it, dug it out to make it deeper. So it should be good from silting up now for another century or so, they say. And the deepest part now is, I think it's 9 meters deep over in that direction, which is deep enough that it doesn't freeze solid during the winter, unlike shallower parts of the lake could, are all but freeze solid. And that means fish can overwinter. So you keep a self-stocking fish supply in here, and that's where we have pelicans now, because there's fish in the lake reliably. It's about 5 kilometers around. I may not go on to Pine Island today because we'll see when we get there. Just because I do have a reason to be back. I will take the, it'll be muddy over there still. Doesn't really look like it. We'll stick to the path. I'll get my throat this morning. I blame the cat. I think I'm slightly allergic. I never thought I was, but I think I probably am. Hang in there. It's always worrisome because the feed can go down without actually me knowing it. Hopefully it doesn't. I've got some editing jobs I have to get on now. I finished Tangled Stars once I get this short story done. But the next thing I'll be writing fiction-wise is book 4 of my World Shaper series. Don't have a title for it yet. And I might run a small Kickstarter for that. See if I could scrape together some money to, help make it worth my while up front. It won't be published by Daw Books. I moved on to the Tangled Stars and hopefully more books in that series. But I do want to continue the World Shaper series. So that means I have to write it and probably publish it myself. So a Kickstarter I wouldn't make it a huge one. I don't know, $4,000 maybe. Have to budget it and see what makes sense. Because you wouldn't clear 4,000. You always have to budget against the production of the thing that you are making and providing it to the people who are kickstarting or providing funds. So that's where it gets tricky. You could just break even, which wouldn't be that bad either, because it means I covered the production costs and then I make money as the book sells, hopefully. Sidewalk Closed. What are they doing over here? I hadn't come this way in so long. Yep, it's definitely closed. Not sure what this will look like when it's done. That's what they're doing. I don't know what it is exactly. New sidewalk. Based on the amount of swearing going on, it wasn't going very well at the moment. They seem to be yelling at each other. all a lot greener than I would normally expect this time of the year because of all the rain we've had late in the year. Typically, we get more rain in the spring, and it's drier by now. Instead, we've had kind of a dry spell, and then we're getting all this rain now. Doesn't do the farmers any good. I hear yields are not great this year. And there was hail, which I'm sure clobbered some farmers' fields in the vicinity, and I don't know how widespread it was across the province. That's what crop insurance is for. That's why being a farmer is a fraught business. It's Willow Island. I didn't even mention the Shards of Excalibur when I went by Willow Island because of all that work that was going on at the end there. But that's where that series begins. Down at the north tip, in the water between there and the mainland. It's where the Lady of the Lake shows up and tells my character Ariane that, oh, there's some geese over there looking picturesque in front of the Willow Island. Tells my character that she's now the Lady of the Lake and has special power, and she and Wally Knight, the boy who seems to have just happened along by accident, are tasked with finding the scattered shards of King Arthur's sword Excalibur from wherever they might be in the world, and thereby hangs a 5-book series. They have to beat Merlin to them, and Merlin is a Bill Gates, Steve Jobs kind of computer guy called Rex Major. I'm going to relaunch that series shortly once I get some time, and try to get some more readers for it. I just haven't had time because of finishing The Tangled Stars and a couple of other things. It's actually a few fewer people this morning, I think, maybe because it's a bit chilly. Don't know. There's the legislature looking nice this morning. So one of the things you run into going around the park is weirdos, and that would be one of them. I thought he looked a little off when I first saw him, and that just confirmed it. Well, that is one of the hazards of doing this. That's one of the... It's not the first time I've run into somebody who was a little off and reacted to me having the camera. Morning. Getting a taste, are you? Yeah. So do I edit him out? In which case you'll wonder who I'm talking about? I'll have to decide that after I get back. Let's go take a look on the overlook, since I'm not I didn't go down this time, partly because my weird little friend there kept going, went down that way. Guess I could go down the steps and cross the bridge. Don't usually do that way, so that'd be different. But you get this nice overlook here. Well, I hope I handled it well. I don't know what his problem was. He came up behind me and was claiming I was harassing people and making fun of what they look like, which of course I wasn't. So, oh, this fountain's off. Usually, of course, there's another fountain here. And there's no fountain. But this is an aeration pond. I had a guy downtown once. I was crossing Broad Street and he was yelling at me. So a couple of times I've had comments. Usually people just ignore me or they say hi. And if they ask, I tell them what I'm doing. And I try not to point the camera at anybody directly. Although I made a exception in that guy's case in case he did something. Ooh, birds. Crows. A murder of crows. What do you call two crows sitting on a branch? An attempted murder. Ba-dum-bum. Of course, it's a parliament of ravens. So I don't know how many ravens you have to have for quorum before you can say you have a parliament of ravens. I suppose ravens trapped in a string and dangling upside down would be a hung parliament. Ba-dum-bum. We'll go through the playground here. Just because we can. There's this nice little climbing rock here, which is kind of cool. And we'll go over there where the boat ramp is. Let's walk by the marina here. This is Bar Willow is up there, has the best deck in the city because it overlooks the lake. We tried to get in there. We had a dinner get together last night with somebody and wanted to get in there, but they had a private function on, so we couldn't. That's happened to us 2 or 3 times. Pine Island over there, its fountain is going, the waterfall, also for aeration. We'll see if I walk around it when I get there. Probably have time. Got to be back at the house at 9:30. That's when our cleaning person is coming in. Oh, they may still be working on it too. There's a truck going across the bridge. I don't see that very often. Morning. See what it looks like under this bridge. The creek has been very high. Sometimes there can be water under this bridge on the path. Yeah, there's a little bit down there. It's not exactly flooded, but it's puddled. Duck. More ducks. Looks like spring, it's so green, except for the flashes of yellow and trees here and there, and the red berries in some of the bushes. Be nice if we keep the grass green while the trees turn yellow. That's always a nice contrast. The grass stays nice and green. Splash. Geese landing made a big splash. You probably couldn't hear it on this mic though. So it'll be fun walking around the lake each Friday as you, well, it'll be fun for me anyway. Airplane. As you watch the these change. Now, they're starting to show signs of forming flocks and heading south. I don't know how they decide who to fly with. Oh, lots of ducks on the platform there. It's like one crow at the end. Maybe he identifies as a duck. Who am I to judge? Those are pigeons. Good morning. Is there 1 mon 22. Good morning. Walking around the lake. Oh, Roger's there too. There's a big truck. I think I can go by it. Those just now joining me, you missed my encounter with the person of uncertain mental acuity. You want to watch back. Acuity. See, I can't even pronounce it right. Who am I to talk? Acuity. Yeah, all the birds seem to be in the water. There's often, earlier in the year, there's lots of them sitting here on the island, but I don't see any of them up here. I don't see any ducks or geese up here. Usually geese. Ducks usually stay in the water. I'll walk under the waterfall for excitement. Again, this is an aeration feature that keeps oxygen in the water. And puts a lot of it on the water, on the walkway as well, so there's a certain amount of dampness associated with that. Oh, here's all the birds. They're on the sunny side of the island. Well, that makes sense. On the sunny side of Pine Island. Lots of ducks in the shade there under the trees. Nice cool breeze off the water. There's downtown coming into view over there. And the tree's probably in the way. From here, there we go. It's nice view of downtown. Right about there. Artfully shot. Always these little openings in the trees along here. Next island up here is Spruce Island. Morning from Vancouver Kirk as we walk around the lake. So far only one encounter with a crazy person. That's a pretty good day. Yellow popping up here and there. Some of those are seeds. They're not actually leaves turning yellow, they're seed pods. But they have the same effect. Actually used his bell. It's a nice touch, an unusual touch. Lots of little seed pods showing up in the Carriganas here too. Those are yellow leaves on that Carrigana. It's a nice morning because it's cool, so not feeling too hot and sweaty. I'm unsure if there's mud down there, so I won't follow the dirt path today. Once this is done, I'm off to write my short story for the anthology that I mentioned off the top, Shapers of Worlds Volume 2. I'm at about 4,900 words. I've got a ways to go, and the limit was sort of 5,000 to 6,000 words. Although I took longer ones, I just capped the amount I would pay for budgetary reasons, and everybody was fine with that. So it was 10 cents a word up to 6,000 words, what I capped it at. If they wanted to go longer, they got $600. And then for reprints, it was half that. But see how generous people are. S.M. Sterling provided basically a novella. I think it's 16,000 words, a reprint, and he was happy to let me have that and only take $300. So it was very generous of him. I have to decide on the order, so I'm going to put Kelly Armstrong's first, I think, because I like it as an opening story. And I think I'll end with Sterling's because it's the longest. So from a sort of rhythm and flow point of view, it's like the anchor at the end. Some yellow leaves popping out up there. I guess we'll go look at Spruce Island right quick. This is the thing. You see locks around Regina that people have attached to fences like that. There's a lot of them on that footbridge I go over all the time near my house. So that's Spruce Island over there. And it's completely unfinished. There's no landing spots on it that I'm aware of. Just left to the wildlife. You have Willow Island, Spruce Island, Pine Island are the three islands. All artificial, because the lake is artificial. We'll take a walk through the ornamental gardens in front of the legislative building when we get there. See what the hail did. It may look a little battered. Curious to find out. We were lucky. We got nasty hail, but for a very brief time. But up in the northwest, this was on Wednesday night. Up in the northwest, they got really clobbered for about 15 or 20 minutes. Turned everything white. Yellow up there. Those are actually seed pods. But still, sign of autumn. Still flowers. They survived whatever hail there was. Lots of colors starting to show up in that tree. A monument over there to the Ukrainian famine caused by Stalin that killed so many Ukrainians. That little girl there, that's what she represents. A little monument to the evils of communism. I'm not sure what they were doing here. They're putting in new pipes, so I presume it's for the sprinkler system or something like that. Tennis courts over there, through the trees. You don't really see them from here, but I can hear the balls being hit. Oh, that's a loon there. Just went under, or I think. He has to come up. Where's he going to come up? Huh. Oh, there he is. Popped up over there. Or she. We'll go by the fountain here. Look at the lake. We're kind of got to move away from it now. Trafalgar Fountain, which used to stand in Trafalgar Square, came over in 1939. I usually approach it from the other side. Of course, you get better lighting on this side, especially on a blue sunny day like this. I like the little dolphins squirting water on the base. And there's the legislative building all lit up by the sun. Mr. Web Guy, says the truck. Not sure why Somebody who presumably does websites needs a pickup. I think there's a lot of heavy equipment to haul around. I'll keep pointing up at the top as we get closer and closer here. Just make sure I don't fall down the stairs, which are at the end of this walk. Okay, I think that's high enough. I should keep moving, time slipping by. So I won't go up on the steps of the legislature, but there's the dome. Just a few years ago it was bright copper because it was replaced and rebuilt. But it's had time to oxidize. And in our climate they turn almost black, unlike some places where it's green, like in Ottawa. Good shot of it. Statue of the Queen. Again, this was dedication of this in 2005. We were standing over the other side and my daughter was successful in handing her flowers. She was very little, but I got a picture of the Queen very close. Couldn't get a picture of both of them together because I was holding Alice in one arm, but got a really nice picture of the Queen. So I had a picture of Alice with the flowers and a picture of the Queen with the flowers immediately thereafter. And as I mentioned before, that was the last time I had a picture in the Weyburn Review. They put it on the front page, those two pictures. Flowers don't look too battered. I'm sure there was some damage, but in general I'd say the garden still looked pretty good. Some flowers are probably just past their prime at this point. They all look a little, some of them look a little old. I don't know if that's from hail or that sort of bruised them, or they're just getting older here. There's Walter Scott, first premier, with his blueprints for the legislative building. Of course, from back here, you can sort of line them up if you do it just right and get the dome inside the blueprints right about there. It's hard to hold it. There you go. Downtown, and the first aeration fountain we walked by over there. A very tall crane over there. I'm not sure what they're working on with that. Whoop. Watch your feet when you're doing this. Currently we've got Canadian and First Nations flags flying there on the bridge. So a very long bridge, doesn't go over much water, only in the very middle does it go over water. But it's also the dam that formed the lake. The spillways, such as it is under the bridge. You often see pelicans on the other side. I don't know if fish get swept over and they catch them when they show up on the other side, or why they like to hang out there. Oh, I bet you that crane must have something to do with the swimming pool. I guess. There's always geese here. I'll probably edit out crazy person on a bike, so you won't know what I'm talking about if you're watching the replay. That was the most excitement I had today. Otherwise, just been a beautiful walk around Wascana Lake. Now, are there any pelicans down there? No. No pelicans. Well, the lake's quite high. There's a rock they like to stand on. It might be too deep underwater for them to stand on it. Possible. So, say goodbye to the lake. We'll take a look at the passage under the bridge, but I think it's going to be muddier than I want to bother with. Especially since I'm headed home and I don't want to track mud in. Certainly mud down here at this end. Yeah, based on what I saw earlier, I'll just stick to the crosswalk. Here's Speaker's Corner with the lanterns from Hyde Park in London. And we have to wait for the light again. Prettier that way. I see more things showing up on the notice stand there. So as public events have been happening again. I can actually jaywalk at this point quite safely, so let's do that. It's like this house. Morning. Oh, lots of berries on that tree. Another sign of fall. Like this house too. So what time is it? Oh yeah, I'm good. See all the leaves on the sidewalk? That's from the hailstorm. That's why these all came down. Nothing to do with fall. That's a summer thing there. I always like this house because it still has the awnings on it, which is very much... Our house had awnings at one point, long gone. And we think we should put them back up. Houses are expensive, though. To pick and choose your battles. The mailman is early. Don't usually think of him showing up until more like noon. At least at our house. Our house is a very, very, very fine house. The seed pods up there to make a dichotomy. Morning. There's Davin School ahead of us. As always when we come this way. Funny that. All right, here's where we stop. So thanks for walking with me live if you watched live, and thanks for watching the recording if you did that. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.